In our Race to November segment this week, we're about halfway through the 2022 primary season, and it's really been exciting. I've been here on the election desk every Tuesday, and it's been a lot of fun, and there's a lot of energy out there. And there are even more November matchups to be decided this week and the weeks to come. So what trends have we seen so far, and what do they tell us about how the November election is shaping up? Joining us now is former Trump 2020 campaign pollster and president and partner at McLaughlin and Associates, Jim McLaughlin. Jim, good to see you.
Great to be here, Tom.
So most of the drama so far, if I'm looking at this correctly, seems to be in the Senate races. What are we seeing so far in terms of trends? Trends both on the Democrat side and also on the Republican side.
Yeah, and you're exactly right, Tom. That's where a lot of the excitement has been right now, because quite honestly, especially the conservative base right now, they want to put a check and balance and literally stop the last 2 years of the Biden presidency. And that's where you're seeing all the passion and emotion right now on the Republican side. Because think about this. This is important. We talk about polls all the time, and we see how unpopular Joe Biden is in all these polls. But if you look at it right now, basically in the Senate primaries, the Democratic turnout is virtually the same that it was 4 years ago. The Republican primary is up nearly 40% Republican participation. That is huge. That is, that's a real problem for the Democrats right now. And that's why all these Democratic strategists and all these Democratic politicians and their friends in the media are so panicked right now about the upcoming midterm elections.
Yeah, I've been in a few of these states, and the turnout is very high. And people are really engaged. They're really interested. There's a lot of disagreement. They're not, the Republicans in particular, they're not monolithic. They're very discerning about who they're voting for. But at least they're coming out, and they're all saying that they're going to come out to vote in November. What are we seeing, though, among independent voters, and any kind of trends in how they are reacting to what they're seeing on the trail so far?
And that's a great point. And one of the things, though, I will tell you this, and you're right, they're picking and choosing. They're being very discerning in terms of the Republican primaries, in terms of picking their candidates. But the one thing they're all united on is Joe Biden has been a disaster, and he's been a terrible president. So what's happening now, when you go look at those swing voters, you look at the independents, they are going overwhelmingly right now for Republican candidates. And we're even seeing it not just among independents, and just as you said, just like Republican primary voters aren't monolithic, independents are not monolithic. We're seeing these all-important suburban independent women that are coming to the Republicans right now because they don't like what's happening in terms of inflation right now. They don't like what's happening in terms of crime. They don't like what's going on at the border right now. And every day they live the failures of Joe Biden's presidency.
Yeah. And I want to talk to you about that, because it's a really key point. And I had asked my political panel in the previous hour about it. We're going to get to it in a sec. But I want to hit you with a couple of races here.
Sure.
Today, the special election in Alaska to fill the seat left by the late Don Young. There dozens of candidates, 48 candidates, including Sarah Palin and Santa Claus. Okay. Any idea what happens here? What do you think?
Well, I think Sarah Palin has a pretty good shot at beating Santa Claus on this one. And I also think that, look, you've got 48 candidates out there. Sarah Palin's a known quantity. She was a good conservative reformer when she was governor. These folks still liked her when she ran as vice president. And she's got the most important thing you can have in a Republican primary, and that's the Trump endorsement. So I think it's really going to help her today.
All right. One of the big races that will be decided in a runoff later this month is the Senate race in Alabama between Katie Britt and Mo Brooks. This has been a fascinating race. You got Donald Trump is trying to make Mo Brooks out to be he's one of like woke or something, and he's one of the most conservative members of Congress. He's kind of been in this race, not in this race. How do you see that shaping up?
Yeah. Oh, it's been fascinating, because you look at this race, and in the beginning, Mo Brooks had a significant lead.
Right.
He had the Trump endorsement. Then what happened was you had another candidate, Mike Durant. He became the front runner. But slowly but surely, and I give Katie Britt, who I know when she worked for Senator Shelby,
Right.
she's run an incredible campaign. Here's someone who wasn't even known to the voters. I mean, her name identification was at about 5%, literally, at the beginning of this race. And now she's the clear front runner. We just came out with a poll yesterday. She's got an 18-point lead over Mo Brooks right now in Alabama because she's viewed as the conservative reformer. She's earned the voters' trust down there, and now she's earned the Trump endorsement.
She was Shelby's chief of staff, and she has the potential to be a real rock star if she gets through this. On Tuesday, another round of primaries. I want to discuss two with you real quick. Nevada Democrat Senator Cortez Masto, widely believed to be vulnerable in November. Is Nevada changing, and what is driving the change here in Nevada, where Republicans really could pick this seat up?
Oh, there's no question about it. And I'll tell you something. We saw President Trump running close in Nevada right before COVID hit. And then obviously once COVID hit, all bets were off. So Nevada is much more swingy than people realize. And now again, with this trend towards Republican candidates, I think Adam Laxalt has a real shot of beating her. And I think it's going to be one of the most important Senate races in the country. And I'm making a prediction. I actually believe the Republicans are going to win the Hispanic vote nationally. Wow. They were up 3 points in the generic in the Quinnipiac poll that just came out. And I think look at Hispanic voters to go overwhelmingly for Adam Laxalt in that election. It's going to be very, very interesting.
All right, South Carolina, Representative Tom Rice, one of the GOP congressmen who voted for impeachment. He seems to be really on the ropes here. What do you see happening?
Yeah, no, again, because most Republican primary voters saw impeachment for what it was. It was just another political dirty trick by the Democratic Party. I mean, you think about what they did with the 2 impeachments of President Trump. It wasn't about, what was best for the country. This was about trying to further the Democratic Party and trying to cancel President Trump. And look, the Republican primary voters don't like to see that. Virtually every Republican primary in the country, Donald Trump has a 90% approval rating, 90% plus with Republican primary voters.
All right, last question for you real quick here. The left has been accused of being so radical. Now they seem to have flipped that narrative onto Republicans. That seems to be their strategy. President Biden appeared on Jimmy Kimmel and had this to say. Take a listen.
Look, the Republicans don't play it square. Why do you play it square?
Yeah.
Well, guess what? If we do the same thing they do, our democracy will literally be in jeopardy.
Well,
I mean, not a joke. And
I understand that argument, but also it's like you're playing Monopoly with somebody who, won't pass go and won't follow any of the rules. And how do you ever make any progress if they're not following the rules?
Well, you got to send them to jail, There's that little box in there.
Directly to jail?
Go directly to jail.
He then went on a tirade yesterday about the MAGA crowd again. Now, between January 6 hearings, this messaging strategy is very, very transparent. Who is that soft target? Real quick for me here, Jim, because I'm out of time. Who is that soft target here that they think this is going to work with?
It's not going to. It's just to try to motivate their liberal base because it's backfiring with middle America, and we see it every day.
All right, Jim McLaughlin, McLaughlin & Associates. Thank you for your insights, Jim. It's going to be exciting.